Welcome to Habeas Treasures, where I try to decipher this book, There's Treasure Inside by Jon Collins-Black, in order to find one of the 5 hidden treasures. On today's episode, I'll continue my breakdown of the Pokemon Box chapter and explain how I think the author might be using the bug Pokemon he sees on his journey to reveal the zip code of where the box is hidden. Let's begin! After the Froakie runs away, the author continues on his journey to hide the treasure alone. This is how he describes what he sees. As I walked, the path became increasingly shaded. This helped with the heat. The landscape in front of me was now mysterious and hauntingly gorgeous. I spotted some Kricketune, several Yanma, and 2 Ladybug, or were they Heracross? It's hard to remember, though I will never forget the Ninjask were everywhere. And in the midst of them all, I spotted a Pheromosa. What a strange and beautiful creature it was. Now, I have to admit, this passage has really stumped me. Why does the author only include bug Pokemon? Now, why these specific bug Pokemon? The author said in a recent interview that you don't need to be a Pokemon expert to find the box. So I don't think the solve requires you to go super deep with your Pokemon research. I think the clue to figuring out what to do with the Pokemon might be in the first couple of sentences. As I walked, the path became increasingly shaded. This helped with the heat. Maybe this information is instructing us to put the Pokemon in a specific order. The phrase increasingly shaded might mean a specific color order because one definition of shade is color. And since the increasing shade, quote, helps with the heat, maybe the order is from warm colors, like reds, to cold colors, like blues. Let's look at the pictures of all the bug Pokemon the author mentioned. Now, if I order these Pokemon visually in order from the darkest red to the lightest red, I get Kricketune, Ladybug, Ninjask, Yanma, Heracross. What's interesting is that the Pheromosa is almost pure white, so it's hard to know where to place her in the color order. However, the author gives us a hint by writing he spotted her, quote, in the midst of them all. I think this means the Pheromosa is somewhere near the middle. Okay, so let's say this is correct. What's the point? How does it help us find the treasure? Well, I think the author might be using the bug Pokemon to reveal a 5-digit zip code. After all, computer programmers find bugs in software codes all the time. Why not in a zip code? But there are 6 bug Pokemon, so which one should be left out? I think this is why he's confused by whether he sees 2 Ladybug or 2 Heracross. What we do know is that he doesn't see both, so one of these isn't going to be used. Since the Heracross is completely blue and doesn't have any shade of red, let's ignore that one for now. That leaves us with the following Pokemon: Kricketune, Ladybug, Ninjask, Yanma, and Pheromosa somewhere in between. If the author is trying to turn these bug Pokemon into a zip code, then we need to convert them each into a single-digit number. The number that I think makes the most sense is the generation number of the Pokemon. After all, the author did travel with 3 generations of his family on his road trip. Now, at this point, I decided to see if any of my solve areas had zip codes that were matches to these numbers. French Lick, Indiana has the zip code 47432, which is pretty close. I like the fact that it contains the 7, which is the Pheromosa's generation number. I also like that positioning it as the second number matches up with the in the midst of them all line in the story. If the author had chosen the phrase in the middle of them all, then the 7 would have had to be in the 3rd position, and this wouldn't have worked. The only thing I don't like is the fact that the Ladybug is generation 2, and the 3rd digit of the French Lick zip code is a 4. However, the author does specifically call out that he sees 2 Ladybug, so maybe we just double the generation number to get a 4. Look, I admit, this solve is not very clean, therefore it's probably not right. Also, it doesn't use the line in the paragraph, "The landscape in front of me was now mysterious and hauntingly gorgeous." That bothers me. Anyway, I made this video in the hope that it might spark some better ideas from the community about what to do with these bug Pokemon. It seems like an important part of the story, especially since the author writes that in the Pokemon game, the Pokemon are the treasure. Let me know how you think the bug Pokemon should be applied to the solve in the comments on this video, or shoot me an email. Love to hear your ideas. Anyway, that's all I've got for today's video. On my next video, I'll give you my thoughts on why he uses the phrase, "we reversed course," and why each step began to remind him of being 5 years old again.